Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy. So this is part 3 of the health journey and how the hell did we get here? So we just left off where I've been diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and from I would say December of 2020 through August of 2021, I'm pretty okay. I don't really have any major moments. I have maybe one, what they would term a thyroid storm, where essentially I would either have a super high anxious response out of nowhere, or I would just get hit with a wall of fatigue that would basically mean that I needed to take a nap or remain seated for a while. And this was not all the time. I would say it probably happened maybe 6 times in the course of those few months. But when I was down, I was down. And the thing about the fatigue that comes from a suspected thyroid just having a moment is that your whole body just stops. It's literally like someone has poured concrete into me and there's nothing there. My cognitive abilities slow down. I can't really process what people are saying. I just need to go to bed. And simple tasks like standing up or moving out of a chair, they're not easy anymore. I used to be someone who could just get up and go, and slowly life started just becoming a little bit more challenging. I began cutting back on the exercise I was doing. I started changing the exercises that I was doing, but even normal walks were becoming a little bit more difficult to navigate because I just didn't have the stamina. It's not that I didn't have the actual physical capability. It's really that my stamina just started to go, but I didn't connect any of the dots. At the end of that summer, I got my first UTI ever, and I was, what is it called? I was prescribed ciprofloxacin. Now, I don't know if I was floxed. I will just say that the timing is very weird because I took Cipro August 24th or 27th, and I left for Boston because I was finishing up my graduate program that September 2nd or 3rd. And from the time that I moved to Boston, I immediately just started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So I moved to Boston in September of 21. And when I got there, it was an amazing point in my life. I was in the 2nd year of my graduate program to become a therapist. I was super happy to be there. It's a great city. I was making friends. All of these amazing things were happening to me. But I started coming down with something that felt like the flu, but it was no flu that I have ever had. Now, for context, when I was a kid, I had strep, no exaggeration, somewhere between 5 and 7 times. I got it every single year, like clockwork, in March. I am very familiar with strep. I've had the flu twice. I thought I knew what was up, and I just had no idea what was going on. And it didn't come on suddenly. It came on very gradually. So what essentially happened is I moved to Boston. I'm exerting a lot of energy. I'm trying to unpack. And I remember distinctly standing up with a box and pulling a muscle in my back. And this spot on my back feels like it's the size of a quarter. And if you touch it, I will just faint from the pain. And at the same time, I'm still practicing yoga. And I remember doing a thread the needle, and I tweak my neck. And I don't really think about it because I've had injuries in yoga before, but they've never impacted my ability to function. It's just things that I recovered from. But something about the combination of me injuring myself as well as getting this either could have been the flu, could have been mono, could have been COVID thing kind of set off this chain of events that I never bounced back from. And the reason I say it could have been mono, it could have been the flu, it could have been COVID is because I was taking COVID tests for school and I never tested positive. I went to University Health Services at least 3 times. They never checked me for mono, so I'm not sure. But I have the antibodies for it, which I only discovered 3 years later. I don't remember ever getting tested for the flu. I would guess that they probably tested me for it when I was at Health Services, but nothing ever came up as to what I had. The only thing that I knew was from September through October, I started getting incredibly more tired, having difficulty getting up or getting just getting moving throughout the day. I also struggled with really kind of feeling like I was on a cloud. Like I was always really stuffy, really disoriented, and I just felt blah, but it wasn't bad enough for me to stop doing things. It was just enough for me to be like, damn, I have this cold that I cannot shake. And then everything just got worse.